Hello and welcome to another video. I'm Tally and I make historically inspired dresses, and today we're going to make another sailor dress. So if you haven't seen my previous video yet, I would suggest to watch that one first, because there I'm explaining a little bit more about why I'm so obsessed with sailor dresses and why I make one every year and why it's a curse and why we're now making another one, even though my last video was literally making a sailor dress. And also saying that, I actually forgot to mention in that introduction that there was another sailor dress I made over the years, which is actually one that I made a video for on this channel. But with those videos, it just kind of feels like I put them out, and once my videos are out, I just completely forget about them. So if I didn't do a photo shooting and put it on Instagram, there's just no recollection for me to remember any of this by. But yeah, so I've made tons of sailor dresses over the years, but what just usually happens is I make them, I wear them once, and then I realize there's something about them I don't like, and then I don't wear them anymore. By now I just call it a curse. So in the last video we made this pink striped sailor dress, and I should say I didn't hate it. I thought it was actually really cute. It was just nothing that I would feel comfortable wearing on a day-to-day basis. And I know some of you mentioned in the comments that, you know, things don't have to be a day-to-day item to deserve to be owned. But this is my wardrobe, so it's actually really small. It just means that if there's something I don't really wear, I don't have the space to keep it. So that's why I ended up parting with the dress and I sold it on eBay. And now I'm making another sailor dress because I'm still in need of a sailor dress and I'm desperate to finally break this curse. The plan is this time we're going to make it green, which is going to be a safe bet because nothing has ever failed when it was green. The plan is that the main fabric's gonna be somewhat of a muted sage green, and then I'm gonna have some sage accents on it. The collar and the cuffs are gonna be a lighter tone of like ivory, because for the previous one I used stark white, and I think that kind of like off-white like this suits me a little bit better, so I'm just gonna go really safe on everything here. Then I'm going to use the Armistice pattern from Folkwear patterns, because that one has more of a square neck. So here you can see this as well. I think square necks suit me better, and I'm not really sure why. Just with a v-neck I often feel like it doesn't really look that good on me, and also there's always this awkwardness about the spot where the sailor collar goes into the button front. So I'm hoping by using a square neck and then also a square sailor collar that I will avoid that somehow. But yeah, so that is the plan, and I'm going to take you right into sewing. No more talking, we're just going to go ahead, get the cat and break the curse. Good morning. It is a new day and we're going to try to make a new sailor dress today. So what we're working with this time, maybe I'll show you a bigger piece so that you can actually see what the fabric looks like. I ordered a sage. It is more of a brown, but I'm actually welcoming that because I was a bit like, I don't know, like obviously I'm like, oh, I'm going to take it really safe this time. I'm going to use a pattern I've never used, and I'm going to use a fabric I'm not sure I'm going to like. See, it's like I'm trying to make the sailor dress does not work. So these are the two colors I'm working with. The dress is just going to be this color entirely, but for the collar and the cuffs. And then I've got some little lace applications, and I've ordered some trims, like velvet trims, that I'm gonna attach to parts of the dress to just give some interest to it, and they're actually sage green. So I hope the entire dress will feel green without being green and just be very safe. If this goes wrong again, I swear I'm never making a sailor dress ever again. We're just gonna go straight into sewing now, so let's go. Okay, so here we are. When I said we're going to go straight into sewing, I obviously meant we're gonna do some prep work, because some of our pieces will need to be put on interfacing, no, is that interlining? The iron-on stuff, just to make sure that our sailor collar does not kind of like wrinkle and sit oddly, just to give it a little bit more crispness. Then we're gonna start working on the vesti, which is the middle part that goes right here. So I want to add some pin tucks the entire way along, so I'm just gonna start preparing that because I want to do it slightly differently than the pattern suggests, because the pattern says it's just one layer and you just kind of like hem the edges. I want to line it because I think it's going to be nicer and crisper this way. So I'm just going to give the front pin tucks and then line it with the back, which doesn't have pin tucks, and then iron everything down. Then I have to attach my sage green ribbons to everything before I sew it. Oh, there's leftover pink sailor dress pieces on it. So these are 3 different widths of my sage green ribbon. So that all needs to be applied. So I think that's just what we're gonna do. So this is just a very long length I don't even know, I think it was like 10 meters of some vintage lace, which I originally bought for my Edwardian evening dress, but then ended up not using. So this is going to be perfect. It's not a perfect color match to my beige, but it's close enough. So I'm gonna add this to some of the beige things. The Armistice blouse has this little kind of like sailor collary front, but it actually is a normal collar in the back. So I merged the Armistice collar with the sailor collar from Laura Nicholin to make my own sailor collar, because this time we're not gonna do a triangular one, we're gonna do a square one. It smells in. How am I meant to iron this on if it melts when I iron it? Progress update. So the bodice is almost assembled, the sailor collar is attached, so is the facing from the inside. Then I've put the vestee on it as well, on the side where it's going to be attached, and then the other side will have some form of buttons, as the pattern suggests, or perhaps hooks and eyes. I'll think about that later. So I'll just have to kind of like do a little top stitch along the edge here to keep everything nice and down. Yeah, that's what's happening. I just took Archie out and then returned to make my lunch. So today we're having some pasta, like a really funny shaped pasta, which I recently picked up in Waitrose. Basically looks like a little spirally curl. So we've got this fancy pasta with bell pepper, mushrooms, tomatoes, pesto, chili, parmesan, and then topped with rocket. So that's today's lunch, because I haven't made any fresh pitas yet. So I will just quickly eat that and then continue my sewing. Just funny, because for my PhD I take very long lunch breaks and I always go to the lunchroom and leave the office, whereas when I'm sewing I'm just eating at the sewing machine and then continuing working as soon as I'm done. And look who's here. As soon as I have some food, suddenly I'm her best friend again. So my friend was telling me to watch K-pop Demon Hunters, and I completely forgot and was watching The Summer I Turned Pretty this morning. And then she messaged me and was like, have you watched it yet? So I'm watching it currently. And let me tell you, it is not great for my productivity, because I'm literally just sitting here staring at it. It is so good. Oh my god. I did not expect this. So yeah, I'm only in up to the point where the boy band was introduced, but I'm obsessed. Just thought I'd tell you this. In case we're not getting very far today, you know why. Okay, let's keep going. Well, I have finished the bodice. I have also finished the movie. Yeah, from like halfway through, I didn't sew. I just sat there in front of my sewing machine, looking at my iPad, just watching this movie. I'm not a big movie person, so I didn't expect it, but it was definitely written for the romanticy girlies. So, okay, so if you haven't watched it yet and you're an Aquata girly, don't walk, run. To go back to our sewing, so the bodice is done. There are things about it that are cute, but it's not great yet. Let's add the yet as if this isn't a cursed project and we're hopeful that things will get better. Currently it doesn't sit amazing, but that's also partly because I've just made the blouse with like the normal length, but it really needs to be shorter. It just ends at the waist, and then I'll have the skirt attached to it. So let's just put the little waistband around, which I'm planning to use for the actual skirt, dress, tie thing. So if it was like this, like, yeah, I think like if the skirt then came from here, I think this is gonna be cute. Talking about cute, look at this one. Okay, but I think I'll have to stop here for the day, because The pets want some attention. I need to do some more tidying, and I also need to do some ironing for some collaborations I need to film tomorrow. I think because it's a long weekend, I might actually be able to continue, because I just need to make the skirt, which really isn't all that much effort. I'm planning to just make a normal circle skirt, so the same one that I've also used for the previous sailor dress. It's just a circle skirt pattern that is kind of like split into 4, and then you've got 1/4 here, 1/8 on each side, and then 1/4 here and 1/4 there. Yeah, and that's a total of 4/4 and make a skirtle. A skirtle! A circle! Yeah, so that's what I'm making now as well, because I don't know, it's the pattern that I've been using lately and I just really like it. And people were asking where I got it from. It is based on my favorite Emmy design skirt, but also, like I said, it's just a circle skirt, so it's not secret really. That's me for today. My brain's a little bit mush after watching that movie, so maybe it's for the best I'm taking a break. Good morning. It is a new day and we continue sewing today. And I know the last time I spoke to you, I said I was done sewing for the day and that I would make the skirt next, but I did actually make the skirt already, because I thought this way it could hang out for a few days before I would attach it to the bodice. And that's exactly what we're going to do now. So I'm a little bit afraid when I tried on the bodice, it felt very big, which I feel like there's something to be said about, you know, how everyone's always complaining about patterns not being inclusive enough and that they don't have enough big sizes if they stop at extra large or something. But this is the smallest size they have and it's too big on me. So I feel like I'm not that small. So I don't know, but they do have a lot of XL sizes. So I guess it's inclusive. So I might have to go back in and make the bodice a little bit smaller, maybe add a little dart that runs all the way along the back. But still it needs to be big enough so I can just pull it over my shoulders. So I think, because this is my trusted circle skirt pattern, this is the size I need to get it over my shoulders. So I think I'll just try to fit it to this size and see how much room there is, and then I'll take a little bit of a dart or something out. And that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, so I think it's fitted now, and I wasn't expecting to have to spend this much time on trying to fit this bodice. I mean, it's not even fitted, it's like fitted enough so I can get it over my shoulders. I'm not sure why I needed to take around 5 inches out of this to make it fit me loosely. Again, why is this their smallest size? I don't think I'm all that small. It's strange. I don't know. This is why I don't really like working with modern patterns, because I feel like with the vintage patterns, if you buy something that says bust 34 inches, that's usually what you get. Whereas with modern patterns, it will say, you know, if you've got a bust 34 inches, you should use this size, and then it's like a sack. Wasted a lot of time on this, but now we can finally attach the skirt to the bodice. I was not expecting to still be working on this weekend, but here we are. Because last weekend was a long weekend, so I thought I could easily finish this. But then, like I said, I watched most of the movie on the first day, so I didn't properly finish everything. And then on the Monday, I was planning to continue working on it, but I started feeling really unwell. And it's like so strange because I've been feeling really unwell for like 2 weeks now. But luckily, I've got a cat to make sure that I'm doing better, which is like dizzy and nauseous and just almost like the way I felt after having COVID, but without having had COVID. So on Monday, I just got like a really bad panic attack as well. And I mean, you guys know I get panic attacks at work all the time because work is kind of what causes them. Ellie, I'm purring into the microphone. But to get them at home is kind of unusual. Just rested and watched some TV and just tried to get through the worst of it. And then all week I've been feeling ill as well, and actually like ended up not going to work on Tuesday. And I don't know. And I'm really dizzy as well. But I have tried to eat more healthy. I've tried to drink a lot of water. So I think it's just my anxiety with everything that's going on with like trying to buy a house and everything. Yeah, I'm just not sure whether I'm ill or anxious because I often get the same symptoms and I really struggle to tell. Like it's always the ongoing joke when I'm feeling unwell, is it, am I hungry? Am I anxious or am I actually ill? Because I just cannot tell the difference. So I think the best way to tackle this is just to push forward and just work. It's not a lot to do now. I just need to attach the trim to the bottom of the skirt, which I've already pinned in last week. And then I want to kind of pull this over slightly so you actually see what I'm talking about. This waistband here, I want to properly attach to the front of the dress, and that's I think actually it. So it's not all that much more to do. A little bit of ironing and then I'm done, and roll myself up in a blanket with a hot water bottle, because luckily Scotland is cold enough again to have a constant hot water bottle on you. And then I'll watch some more of The Summer I Turned Pretty, because I'm rewatching the first season now in the second season, so I can watch the new episodes. Let's do a little bit of sewing, a very casual day, not too much, a little bit of resting, a lot of cat cuddles. Let's go. The dress is completely finished, ironed, everything attached, which means I can finally take a break. It turned out really cute. I definitely like it better than the previous dress I made. It feels a little bit more casual, even though I ended up putting a little bow in the front as well, because it just felt like, I don't know, the bow made it a little bit more special again. I have to see it when I like do my makeup fresh and my hair and everything, and then put it on, how I feel about it. Just now I'm just really tired, but I'm glad I've managed to finally finish this project, because it just feels like I always try to get my projects finished within one day, just because I am impatient and I don't really like having to wait an entire week to get to another day of sewing. And now this has been 2 weeks, a total of 3 days of working on it, so it feels like I've been working on this dress for ages, especially considering I've been working on sailor dresses for like 3-4 weeks now. So I'm very excited to show you the result, and yeah, I guess I'll just take you over to the reveal. Okay, so what do we think? I think it's definitely more me than the pink dress. So putting it on, I don't really feel like it's a costume, and I totally see myself wearing it. I think the fabric is a linen viscose mix. And I know that viscose is a natural fabric, but it makes it a little bit stretchy, and I actually feel like you can tell it almost looks a bit polyestery. So that's something that put me off a little bit. Even while sewing, I kind of felt like I didn't love the fabric. And obviously the whole problem around fitting the bodice. I think if I had just gone with my trusted blouse pattern, I would have probably been better off just trying to adapt that to this shape rather than using this one, because it was just so much alteration I had to go in to make it fit well. But again, this is on me. I should have known better than to try to use a new blouse pattern without a mock-up. But other than that, I don't know, I think it's cute and I'm going to keep it. That is still to be seen whether I'm actually going to wear it. This summer is luckily coming to an end, which means from now we can do a little bit more autumn-inspired things. We can finally start working with wool again, so I'm very excited for that. I think it's cute. I think I just need to wear it a couple of times and kind of see how it behaves, because often when I make new things, they don't feel quite me yet. So I just have to wear them a few times and see how like people react to it, and then I grow comfortable in them, and then I'm happy to wear them. Just I love sailor dresses. I think they're so cute, and so we're just gonna make this a thing. This is the sailor dress that broke the curse. We're just gonna say it, repeat after me. 1, 2, 3. This is the sailor dress that broke the curse. But yeah, so that's it for this video, and also the last sailor video of the year, I promise. But that doesn't mean I won't come back making another sailor dress next year. It's actually very likely that I will. And we'll see whether I like that one. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you liked this, you could like the video. You could subscribe. I don't know, you could comment and tell me whether you prefer this one or the pink one. And I've got some plans for my next videos. I'm gonna do something with wool, which is going to be completely different to what I normally do, as in it's going to be trousers. And then I will finally give you an update on the house situation, because as you can tell by kind of like video, some scenes were filmed in the room looking like this, and some scenes were filmed in the room looking like it looked before, which is because we've just been updoing all of the floors, and I've been painting, and all of this is happening because we have found a new place. Yeah, so I'm gonna give you an update on that soon. I'm very excited. So I hope I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.